Beneath the dusty plains of Xi'an, China, lies one of humanity's most haunting mysteries, an army that has stood in silence for over 2,000 years. They are not men of flesh and blood, but warriors of clay and fire, frozen in time, yet alive in spirit. Each one bears a distinct face, a unique expression, as if thousands of real soldiers had been turned to stone in a single breath. This is the Terracotta Army, the immortal guardians of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, a man who unified a fractured land through blood and iron, and then sought to conquer the one enemy no emperor ever could: death itself. When farmers accidentally uncovered the first clay soldier in 1974, they had no idea they were unearthing a lost empire beneath their feet. A vast necropolis stretching for miles, built to mirror the emperor's real army in life. What drove this colossal obsession? Was it fear, faith, or madness? More than 2 millennia later, the Terracotta Army still whispers the same question that haunted its creator. Can power truly make a man immortal? The rise of an empire. Over 2,000 years ago, long before the Great Wall cut across mountains and deserts, China was a fractured land, torn apart by war, ambition, and the hunger for power. For centuries, 7 great kingdoms battled endlessly in what history would remember as the Warring States period. Armies clashed across valleys, cities rose and fell in fire, and rulers dreamed of uniting all under one flag, yet none could. In the far west, among the rugged hills and misty rivers, lay the state of Qin. It was a land forged in discipline and iron, hardened by struggle. Its people were soldiers, its laws unforgiving, its leaders obsessed with strength. And from this crucible of war emerged a boy who would one day change the course of history: Ying Zheng. When Ying Zheng ascended the throne at only 13 years old, Qin was powerful but far from supreme. He inherited a realm surrounded by enemies and riddled with internal strife. Yet even as a teenager, he was unlike any ruler of his time: cold, calculating, and utterly fearless. He believed he was destined for something greater than kingship. He believed he was chosen to rule all under heaven. As the years passed, his ambition grew into obsession. Ying Zheng reorganized his armies, reformed his bureaucracy, and built a spy network that stretched across rival kingdoms. He turned Qin into a war machine, efficient, relentless, and ruthless. One by one, the 6 other states fell before his might: Han, Zhao, Wei, Chu, Yan, and finally, Qi. By the year 221 BCE, after decades of bloodshed, the wars that had consumed China for centuries finally ended. Ying Zheng had done the impossible. He had unified the entire realm, an achievement that no one before him had even dared to imagine. That year, he took a new name: Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. It was not a royal title, it was a declaration that the age of kings had ended and the age of emperors had begun. Qin Shi Huang wasted no time reshaping his new empire. He abolished old feudal systems, standardized the written script, currency, weights, and even the width of cart axles to unify the roads of his empire. He ordered the construction of massive highways and fortifications that would later form the foundations of the Great Wall of China. But while his power brought order, it also inspired fear. He demanded absolute obedience. Books that questioned his rule were burned. Scholars who resisted were buried alive. His will was law, his word eternal. To his people, he was both a savior and a tyrant, a man who had brought unity through terror and peace through blood. Yet, even as he ruled over millions, Qin Shi Huang was haunted by a shadow that no army could defeat: death. He could conquer nations, but not time. And so began his greatest and most dangerous obsession: the quest for immortality. It was this fear, this desperate desire to live forever, that would lead him to command the construction of one of the most astonishing creations in all of human history: a silent army built to guard him beyond the grave. An army of clay, steel, and spirit, the Terracotta Warriors. The Terracotta Army, a kingdom beneath the earth. When Qin Shi Huang unified China, he believed he had achieved what the gods themselves desired: to rule over all under heaven. But for the first emperor, conquest was not enough. He wanted to reign forever, in this life and the next. And so began one of the greatest undertakings in human history: the construction of his eternal empire beneath the earth. Deep beneath the plains near modern-day Xi'an, hundreds of thousands of laborers, craftsmen, and soldiers worked in secret for nearly 4 decades. It was said that 700,000 workers were conscripted to build the emperor's tomb, a massive underground world meant to mirror his empire above. At its heart lay the emperor's burial chamber, surrounded by rivers of mercury, flowing mountains of bronze, and constellations painted on a ceiling of stone. But the emperor's most astonishing creation stood nearby, an army unlike any other, not of flesh and blood, but of terracotta. Each warrior was sculpted by hand, standing life-size or taller, armored in clay, and once painted in vivid colors that time has since stolen away. They were archers and infantrymen, cavalry and generals, arranged in perfect formation as if ready for battle. Their purpose was not symbolic, it was spiritual. They were built to defend their emperor in the afterlife, to ensure that his reign would never end. What makes the Terracotta Army truly extraordinary is not just its scale, but its individuality. Over 8,000 soldiers have been uncovered, and no two faces are the same. Each carries distinct features, expressions, hairstyles, armor details, suggesting that real soldiers once served as their models. Even the horses, chariots, and weapons were crafted with astonishing realism. For over 2 millennia, this hidden army stood in silence, guarding a tomb no one dared to disturb. The site remained untouched, forgotten by history, until 1974, when a group of farmers digging a well struck something hard beneath the soil. What they uncovered was a fragment of a clay soldier's head, the first glimpse of an ancient secret buried for over 2,000 years. When archaeologists began to excavate the site, what they found stunned the world. A subterranean battlefield frozen in time. Ranks upon ranks of soldiers standing in eternal readiness. It was like opening a portal to another world, one shaped by faith, fear, and the limitless ambition of a single man. The discovery of the Terracotta Army reshaped our understanding of ancient China. It revealed the extraordinary craftsmanship and organization of the Qin dynasty, the ability to mobilize thousands of workers, coordinate massive projects, and create something that would outlive the empire itself. The warriors' weapons, still sharp after 2,000 years, showed advanced metalwork techniques that scientists are only beginning to understand. Their original paint, though now faded, hinted at artistry as refined as anything found in Greece or Rome. To this day, only a fraction of the complexing has been unearthed. The emperor's central tomb remains sealed, untouched out of fear that modern excavation could destroy its fragile wonders. Legends tell of deadly traps, of crossbows set to fire automatically, of rivers of liquid mercury still flowing around the emperor's chamber. And so, beneath the earth, the first emperor still rests, guarded by his immortal army, a silent testament to his belief that power could transcend death. But as centuries have passed, his soldiers have come to stand for something far greater. Not the tyranny of one man, but the enduring brilliance of human imagination. The Terracotta Army was built to preserve one emperor's rule forever. Instead, it has preserved his story, allowing the world to witness how far the human will can reach in its quest to defy mortality. Secrets of craft and technology. For over 2 millennia, the Terracotta Army has stood as a silent miracle. But beneath their calm expressions lies a mystery that continues to astonish scientists, historians, and artists alike. How did craftsmen over 2,000 years ago create something so precise, so lifelike, and so enduring? What knowledge was lost with the fall of the Qin dynasty? Each warrior was not molded from a single piece of clay, but built section by section. The head, torso, arms, and legs formed separately, then assembled like parts of a great puzzle. This modular design allowed workshops to produce thousands of figures simultaneously, each slightly different from the next. It was, in many ways, a precursor to mass production, 2,000 years before the Industrial Revolution. The details are extraordinary. The soldiers' hairstyles, armor plates, and even the treads on their shoes were sculpted by hand. Once assembled, the figures were fired in massive kilns, reaching temperatures high enough to fuse the clay into stone. Then came the final transformation: color. Originally, every warrior was vividly painted in bright pigments, deep reds, purples, blues, and greens. But the moment these figures were unearthed, the paint began to peel away and vanish within seconds, destroyed by sudden exposure to air and light. For decades, scientists struggled to preserve even a trace of the original hues. Only with recent advances in chemistry and 3D imaging have researchers begun to digitally reconstruct what the army once looked like. A dazzling sea of color, glinting under torchlight in the Emperor's eternal night. Even more astonishing are the weapons. The soldiers carried real bronze swords, spears, and crossbows. Weapons that, after 20 centuries, still gleam with a faint metallic shine. Analyses revealed that many of these weapons were coated with a thin layer of chromium oxide, a technique thought to have been invented in modern times. How did the Qin craftsmen discover a method of anti-corrosion thousands of years before the rest of the world? Was it deliberate chemistry or a remarkable coincidence born from their metallurgy? To this day, the answer remains uncertain. The artisans who built the Terracotta Army were not just laborers. They were masters of engineering, chemistry, and sculpture. Some historians believe entire workshops were organized like military units, each responsible for producing specific body parts or weapons. The result was both efficient and artistic, a perfect harmony of order and creativity, much like the empire they served. And yet, behind this perfection lies tragedy. Ancient texts suggest that when the tomb was finally sealed, the craftsmen who built it were trapped inside, entombed with their creation to keep its secrets forever. Whether this is legend or truth, no one knows, but it adds another layer to the haunting silence of the Emperor's underground world. Modern archaeologists have only scratched the surface. Advanced imaging technology has revealed hundreds of unexplored chambers still buried deep beneath the soil. Some believe that within these sealed spaces lie even more wonders. Perhaps other armies, treasures, or entire landscapes of clay frozen in time. Each new discovery blurs the line between art and science, between craftsmanship and divinity. The Terracotta Army was not just built to protect a dead emperor. It was a statement of human capability, proof that imagination, discipline, and ambition can outlast the very civilization that birthed them. And as researchers continue to unlock the secrets of these warriors, one truth becomes clear. Even in silence, they are still speaking, telling the story of a people who reached for eternity through the hands of clay. The tomb and the unopened mysteries. Beneath the rolling hills of Xi'an lies one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. For over 2,000 years, it has remained sealed, untouched by human hands, a sleeping colossus beneath the earth. The Terracotta Army was only the beginning, a mere guard post, standing watch outside the emperor's true resting place. Ancient records speak of a vast underground palace, a mirror of the heavens above and the empire below. It was said to contain rivers and seas of liquid mercury, flowing through bronze channels, and a ceiling studded with pearls to represent the stars. The emperor, it was believed, would rule forever in this subterranean world, just as he once ruled the living. But no one has ever seen it. When archaeologists uncovered the Terracotta Army in 1974, they realized that the central tomb, the emperor's chamber itself, lay deep within a massive earthen pyramid nearly 300 feet tall. Since then, it has never been excavated, not because of superstition, but because of science and caution. Tests of the surrounding soil revealed extraordinary levels of mercury, far above natural concentrations. Was it ancient poison meant to deter grave robbers? Or could it be evidence that the legends were true? That entire rivers of the element still flow inside? No one knows for sure. To open the tomb prematurely could destroy delicate artifacts, paintings, or even biological materials preserved for millennia. China's archaeologists face a dilemma unlike any other: to uncover the world's greatest archaeological treasure, or to leave it hidden, waiting for technology advanced enough to protect it. The tomb's construction itself is another enigma. Historical texts describe more than 700,000 workers laboring for decades to complete the mausoleum, an underground empire of chambers, corridors, and traps. Legends speak of crossbow mechanisms rigged to fire automatically at intruders, and of tunnels so complex that anyone entering without a map would never return. Some say even the craftsmen who built it were sealed inside to preserve the emperor's secrets forever. To this day, no probe or radar scan has been able to fully map what lies beneath. Some structures appear to defy simple explanation. Enormous voids, strange magnetic readings, and sealed vaults that resist modern imaging. Each discovery deepens the mystery rather than solves it. Yet, what fascinates researchers most is not just the scale or the technology, but the mindset behind it. Qin Shi Huang was not merely building a tomb, he was building eternity. He believed that through sheer force of will, engineering, and ritual, he could cheat death itself, that the empire of the living could be replicated perfectly in the world beyond. It was the ultimate act of control, the ultimate expression of power, and perhaps, in a way, he succeeded. Over 2,000 years later, the emperor still commands the attention of the world. His soldiers still stand in formation. His city beneath the earth remains sealed, its secrets intact. No conqueror, no dynasty, no revolution has dared to disturb his rest. Modern China rises above the same soil that hides his tomb. A nation transformed by the same ambition that once drove its first emperor. And deep below, the ancient machinery of immortality may still wait, undisturbed in the dark. Until the day we open it, if that day ever comes, the tomb of Qin Shi Huang will remain one of humanity's greatest mysteries. A place where history, myth, and the impossible all meet, and where the silence of eternity still reigns. The legacy of an empire. Over 2,000 years have passed since the first emperor of China took his final breath. Yet his shadow still stretches across time. The empire he forged, the system he built, and the dream he pursued continue to echo through the ages. When Qin Shi Huang unified China in 221 BCE, he did more than conquer kingdoms. He redefined civilization itself. He standardized language, currency, weights, and measures, laying the foundations of a nation that would endure for millennia. He connected thousands of miles of roads and defensive walls, the early bones of what would become the Great Wall of China. He transformed a fractured land into a single identity, Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom. His rule was harsh, often brutal. Books were burned, scholars silenced, dissent crushed beneath the weight of his ambition. Yet, from that same iron will came a vision of unity that shaped one of the longest continuous civilizations on Earth. His empire fell soon after his death, but the idea of empire, of one China, never did. And then there are his soldiers, the Terracotta Army. Once buried in silence, now one of the most iconic discoveries in human history. They stand as guardians of eternity, each face unique, each expression frozen at the intersection of life and death. They remind us that power, no matter how absolute, still seeks immortality. That the human desire to be remembered, to endure, transcends time, culture, and dynasty. When visitors walk through the museum halls in Xi'an today, they do not just see clay warriors. They see the echo of an empire. They see the brilliance of ancient artisans who captured the soul of a civilization in earth and fire. They see the paradox of Qin Shi Huang, a man who conquered death by embracing it. Modern China, in many ways, still bears the mark of the first emperor. His legacy is written into every map, every city, every symbol of the state. Even the name China, derived from Qin, carries his memory. From the unification of language to the centralization of power, his blueprint still shapes the world's most populous nation today. But beyond politics and monuments lies a deeper truth. The Terracotta Army, the Great Wall, the tomb buried beneath the hill, all are reminders that greatness is never simple. It is built on vision and sacrifice, on order and fear, on dreams that reach beyond the mortal world. The story of Qin Shi Huang is not just the story of China. It is the story of humanity's endless struggle against time. Every empire that rises seeks permanence. Every ruler wants to be remembered, and every civilization leaves behind its own army of clay, its monuments, its creations, its dreams turned to stone. In the end, Qin Shi Huang did achieve a form of immortality, not through the elixirs of alchemists, but through legacy. Through the endless gaze of the soldiers who still stand watch in the dark. Through the awe of every visitor who walks among them and feels for a moment the breath of history itself. As centuries pass and empires rise and fall, the first emperor remains, silent, eternal, unbroken. A reminder that power fades, but vision endures. That beneath the dust of time, the echoes of greatness never truly die. This is the legacy of Qin Shi Huang, a man who tried to rule forever, and in his own way, still does. From the ancient soil of Xi'an, the army of Qin Shi Huang still stands, silent, watchful, eternal. Each warrior, molded by human hands over 2,000 years ago, continues to tell a story of power, ambition, and the unending pursuit of immortality. The Terracotta Army is more than an archaeological wonder. It is a mirror, reflecting our deepest desires to be remembered, to leave a mark that time cannot erase. For in every brick, every face, every weapon carved from clay, lies the echo of a question as old as civilization itself. Can anyone truly conquer time? Can power, art, or faith ever make us immortal? Qin Shi Huang believed so, and perhaps, in a way, he succeeded. His empire may have fallen, but his legacy still breathes beneath the earth, whispering to every generation that dares to listen. And maybe that is the closest any of us will ever come to eternity.